Is withholding a removal a form, or is it the same as TPS?
Withholding of removal is different than TPS. Withholding of removal is the judge says, even though you're deportable, we think you're going to get killed if you go home. So we just won't deport you because we're not going to deport people to get killed or tortured or thrown in jail or whatever it is. It's different than amnesty. So it's just a order from a judge saying, yes, you're deportable, but right now you're in danger if you go home, so we won't deport you. Temporary protected status is given by the President of the United States through an executive order, and he gives temporary protected status to an entire group of people. Everybody from this area, everybody from this country shouldn't go home. It's dangerous. For withholding a removal, it's you individually, and it doesn't necessarily have to be from a country that is designated by the president. Also, people in TPS haven't necessarily been ordered deported. You have. So if you ever want to get a green card, you need to reopen your deportation case.
Mr. Bernstein, I'm a TPS recipient from Haiti.
Okay.
And I'm trying to adjust my status under 245I.
Uh-huh.
What
qualifies you to adjust your status under 245I?
Back in 1990, my dad filed a petition, an I-130 for me.
He did? Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, and what happened with that case?
But he passed away, so they had to revoke it.
Okay, that's fine, but it was approved, right?
It was approved,
okay,
yes.
Fine, so you're 245I, wonderful.
Okay.
And what's the problem?
I have a removal order, though, in 2001.
Okay, so then you cannot adjust your status till you reopen your case. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to, I assume you're doing it based on marriage?
What?
You now want to get a green card based on marriage, or what is the basis that you want to get a green card on? I know about the 245I that grandfathers you in, but what is the basis that you're getting a green card on?
My mother filed a petition.
Your mother filed, and that is approved as well.
Yes, in 2015.
Okay,
yes.
and all right, so you need to make a motion to reopen your deportation hearing, your removal hearing. Most likely, it's going to have to be what's called a joint motion, where you ask the trial attorneys to join in to reopen your case. Show that humanitarian reasons why this case should be open. Maybe your mother is elderly and needs your help. Obviously, it's a problem to go. Obviously, it's a problem to go back to Haiti. Maybe there's economic issues. What?
Question. Yeah. I came here with a visitor's visa. The removal order is because a political asylum case was denied.
Okay. All right. So it still has to be reopened. Okay. And then once it's reopened, everything goes smoothly from there. Hold on if you need help. All right.
Okay.
All right.
And the I-212, what is that? Do I need to file that too?
No.
I-212?
No, because that's to re-enter the United States after a prior order of deportation. You don't need that because you're not re-entering. You need to reopen your case so you can adjust. Hold on 1 second. So the 212 is not anything you need.
Family F3 category application.
Yes.
Applicant is here under TPS.
Yes.
Applicant waiting for visa number for 11 years.
Yes.
If petitioner doesn't have any income, but the applicant under TPS status has a job, has health insurance and everything.
If the applicant has
a job and health insurance,
has 40 consecutive quarters, 40 consecutive, which is 10 years of legal employment above the poverty level with insurance, then the petitioner still has to do the affidavit support, but then you would get through.
Okay, otherwise we're going to need a co-petitioner?
Correct, right. So it's 40 quarters, which is 10 years.
Will the applicant need to be, once the visa number become available, will the applicant needs to go back to the country of birth?
Yes, if TPS doesn't put you in legal status to adjust your status here.
Okay, so you have to go back.
Yeah, but maybe
status here?
Maybe you're 245I.
I don't understand. Can you clarify?
Yeah, 245I is that your parent or you had something filed in the system before April 30th, 2001. We have to find out how the dad got his green card. So if the dad, for example, got a green card through a job sponsorship back in the 90s, or the case started in the 90s, and your friend was under 21 at the time, he's 245I. He can pay a penalty fee and get his green card here. I'm just giving you that as a example. So we got to find out more about the dad before I tell you for sure what he has to do.
Can somebody call for information? I had someone needs a student visa, but he is a TPS. Can he change that for a student visa?
You can change your status from TPS to a student visa without going home and coming back. And you're going to have a trouble if you go home to get the student visa because you may have a non-immigrant intent problem. But what I would suggest you do if you have TPS is to make an appointment and let's figure out what other options you may have.
Can I apply for temporary protected status while my green card application is pending?
Yes.
If I'm in deportation but I'm still in the USA, could I qualify for Biden's most recent announcement regarding temporary protected status?
He's Haitian?
Does not say that.
If he's Haitian, yes. If you're not Haitian, no. Just for Haitians.
When does the new TPS for individuals here before May 21st become active?
It's active now, the TPS.
How can an asylum seeker waiting for an interview adjust his status when his country is under TPS?
Get approved for asylum.
My brother has been at LPR since 2012, U.S. resident, parent to child, and is ready to become a citizen. In 2008, our removal proceedings were closed based on TPS for Salvadorians. What's the next step?
File an N-400 if he's over 18.
Yep, because he's a parent to a child and is ready to become a citizen.
Yeah.
My husband, he came on a student visa in 2017. He left Florida and went to Canada because of the whole Trump situation, I guess. And then he was...
What do you mean he went to Canada because of the Trump situation?
He left and went to Canada and filed for asylum in Canada
and he
as well.
got it there?
No, he got rejected and told him to go back to where to go back to Haiti.
Okay.
And then he obviously came back to the United States illegally. And then we got married, and then I filed a I-130 petition, and he got approved. But then we recently got a letter telling him to go back to Florida to do an interview, but we withdrew because of financial.
He's got a whole issue, sort of. He's got a lot of problems because I assume he was undocumented in the U.S. For some period of time.
Yes.
Before
after he came back.
Okay. And then he left the United States and then returned after being undocumented. That could be a permanent bar to getting a green card now.
He had a visa, a 5-year visa.
Okay. So when did he file for asylum?
In 2017.
And when did he arrive? 2017?
I think 2016, I believe.
Okay. All right. As long as he did not overstay his visa by more than
100. He didn't.
Okay. So then he's okay with the EWI. He re-entered the U.S. when?
2018, I believe, 2018. But it was obviously illegally because Canada told him to go back to his country.
All right. He can't go for his asylum interview because he left. Okay.
Right.
And he can't adjust his status here because he entered without inspection. At that point, he didn't get TPS because he came too late.
So he applied for TPS. Right. So when I filed for the petition and it got approved. And then we got a letter saying that he has to go to the interview for asylum, but because of financial reasons, we couldn't go. So I sent out an email to withdraw. Then they sent another letter telling us that they dismissed the case, but they knew that he left the country.
Okay, so his asylum is done.
Yes.
I'm not sure about his TPS. You could get TPS still because he came back in 2018, so he should be able to get TPS. So he should be able to stay here on his TPS.
Okay.
If you travel on advance parole on TPS, you can no longer adjust your status here. So let's make sure he gets his TPS first. And then I got to make sure he doesn't have a permanent bar to reentry if we were to do a provisional waiver for him to return to Haiti for 2 weeks and then come back to the U.S. with his green card. Because the one thing we don't want him to do, we don't want him to leave and then get a permanent bar. And that all depends on what happened with that asylum and how long he was out of status before he left for Canada and then returned to the United States. So I think this needs a consultation. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.